welcome to episode 30 of Star Wars Tabletop Gaming. In today's episode, we're going to talk about Princess Leia. We finally have all of her cards revealed, her command cards specifically, and we can take a deeper look at her stats. I've had some time to think about her, what you want to be doing with her, and of course we can compare her now against Veers, as we know what he's all about. So Leia, I'm going to just put this out there. I believe that Leia Organa, the commander for Legion, is more powerful, or at least more useful, than Veers in an Imperial army. And people are going nuts for Veers right now. So I think once Leia drops, rumored 24th of May, we're going to see her all over the table for Rebels. I think she's an excellent commander. She's at a great price point, and she does some really cool stuff. So let's look at what she does. We've talked about it a bit previously, but let's go a little deeper. So for her card, for those that are not aware, Leia Organa is only 90 points, which is really nice. She has 6 health, she has 2 courage, she has an offensive, defensive surge, movement 2, she has a few upgrades on the side you can see there. Her special words, what do we call these? Her wording, her special rules. She's got take cover 2 as an action, which is really cool. So choose up to 2 friendly trooper units at range 1, noting she can choose herself. Each chosen unit gains a dodge token. Amazing. So, of course, the alternative for this, the opposing side for Veers, is he's got the one where you can give an aim token to 2 units. I think taking dodge tokens is so much more powerful, and especially when you combine it with the keyword nimble. They're keywords, that's what they are. When you combine it with the keyword nimble, which both Leia and, of course, Rebel Troopers have, take cover 2 becomes extremely powerful. And I don't see a Rebel army come 24th of May without Leia because of this specific keyword right here. But she does a bunch of other really cool stuff as well. So Inspire 2, which is amazing. So after your rally step, remove up to 2 suppression tokens from other friendly units at range 1 to 2. Spectacular. That's going to stop those troopers units with kind of 1 or 2 suppression tokens getting locked down and not getting a second action, which really hurts the Rebels. Really hurts them a lot when you want to be taking dodge tokens and doing moving and shooting to get into cover. Inspire 2 is amazing. And I think that just makes her such a utility character. Luke has nothing like this. Leia will be just so useful in making sure your troopers are grabbing objectives and putting down firepower. She has Nimble, as I already said, so she recycles dodge tokens. And she has Sharpshooter 2. While performing a ranged attack, reduce the defender's cover by 2. That's amazing. So trooper units in heavy cover, or any unit in heavy cover, no longer have cover. And if we look at her weapons, so she's got martial arts, her close combat weapon, which has 3 black dice, and her pistol, her Defender Sporting Blaster, range 1 to 2, 3 black dice with offensive surges to crit, and they're not getting cover. It's got Pierce 1. This is pretty powerful. I mean, she's actually going to be putting down some pretty serious damage. I mean, compared to Veers, I think he only has 3 white dice, which is trash in comparison. So very impressed with Leia. As a character overall, with her stats, I think they're excellent, and I really want to take her and get her on the table and just destroy things and back up my own units. She, of course, works best when surrounded by Rebel Troopers, but we'll get to that in a moment. Let's have a look at her command cards first, which of course is what this latest article has really given us. So we'll start with her 1 pip, Coordinated Bombardment. This is one we already knew. 1 pip, Leia. At the end of Leia Organa's activation, she may perform up to 3 attacks against different enemy units using the following weapon, and that weapon is range 4 and further, 2 red dice, immune deflect. So combined with her own attack, that's 4 attacks that you're putting out there. Now, of course, with 2 red dice on each unit, you're not going to kill a whole bunch of stuff, but it's going to be useful for 2 things. Firstly, those cheeky trooper units with 1 or 2 troopers left that are opposing you and just running around, grabbing objectives, and just being a general nuisance. And you don't want to waste like a whole a whole unit's firepower on them. Here comes Coordinated Bombardment to just pick them off. But the other thing, and the thing I think it's most useful for, is used in those early turns, which is when you want to use it because the enemy is still at range 4 or more, and it just hands out suppression like nobody's business. So, including your own attack, you're putting out 4 suppression tokens across the opposing force's army. And that's really significant. That's really going to slow them down and kind of limit the effectiveness of return firepower if you get this off with your first activation. And noting it's 1 pip, you will if that's how you want to run it. So that is Coordinated Bombardment. I think it's excellent. It's a little tricky. It's not just pure damage. It uses some skill and some thought, but has the potential to be crippling to an opposing forces army. Next, let's look at Somebody Has to Save Our Skins. This is cool. Love the art. She's blasting a hole there with dead stormtroopers in the background. So it's 3 pips. It is Leia Organa and 2 units. After Leia's activation, you may choose a friendly unit at range 1 to 2 with a face-up order token and activate it. That means that pretty much you're getting to activate 2 units for 1 activation. Now, a few things about this. Firstly, 3 pips, 3 units. Great control over your army. That's amazing. Secondly, getting to go with 2 units at the one time is so cool. You can do so much with that. In the games that I've played, I've really noticed that getting to go first and getting to activate certain units before other units is so important to getting the initiative, getting the jump on them, putting down suppression tokens, getting in cover, getting them before they get in cover. Getting to activate 2 units at once, I think is really powerful. And people are going to use this with an airspeeder or with an AT-RT. It's not just troopers. You can use this with any 2 units plus Leia to do some real damage and to do some really cool stuff, and to make sure your units are where they need to be before the enemy really gets to do anything serious. So that is Somebody Has to Save Our Skins. Her last command card that has been revealed is No Time for Sorrows. When a friendly troop unit is issued an order, this is 2 troopers, it may perform a speed 1 move. So 2 pips, 2 troopers, and those 2 trooper units, when issued an order, noting you can give it to Leia herself, may perform a speed 1 move. So cool. Free movement is amazing. It allows you to get into cover, it allows you to get out of line of sight, move closer to get in range, and then still be able to aim and shoot. There's so many things that you'll be able to do with this free movement, and there's so many times where I've activated units and just wished I could move, do something else, and shoot. Like, for instance, take a dodge, which is what your Rebel troopers really want to be doing, but when they're being commanded by Luke, they don't really have the extra activations to do. So now moving into armies I want to use her in. This is what it's all about. So Leia just excels at leading your Rebel troopers, which is thematic and wonderful. She essentially allows them to either have dodge tokens on her from her action or have dodge tokens on them through her command cards, as well as crippling the opposing army's troopers at the same time. And here's a little tip. If you haven't worked it out already, Legion is all about the trooper units, people. All about the trooper units. It's all about objectives, and to get objectives, you need those trooper units. You need them to be doing what they do best, which is moving and getting into cover and surviving. And that's what Leia's all about. And that's why I think she is just an excellent commander. But what I actually want to do is use Leia and Luke in the same army. The great thing is that because of the characters and the way they work, you don't really need to give them upgrades. I mean, when you look at Vader, you need to give him essentially 25 points of upgrades. Luke and Leia, without any upgrades, comes to 250 points, only 25 more than your standard Vader loadout. They give you so many options, so much board coverage for commands, amazing offensive output, amazing utility for your trooper units, and I just think together they're going to do a whole lot of work. I mean, 250 points is a lot to spend. Let's not kid ourselves, but I'm certainly going to give it a go, and I think it's going to be really effective for actually playing the objective game and not just trying to kill your the opponent's army. When thinking about Leia, there are a few downsides. She's not overly perfect. 90 points. Yeah, I don't know if you heard that. That's my tiny human yelling at me from downstairs. So 90 points is quite expensive for a utility character. It's not cheap. For 90 points, your Imperial counterparts are getting a whole speeder bike unit, which certainly has a lot more offensive output than Leia has. And with her actions and what she wants to do, she's going to be pretty static. So just be aware of that. And that's why I want to take Luke and Leia, so that I can move Luke up the table with an offensive output. And so I can keep Leia back with a bunch of Rebel troopers and have a bit of a fire base, a bit of an objective grabbing kind of mini part of my army. Just Leia, 2 kitted out troop units, just working together, doing amazing things for each other. I think that's going to be what it's all about. I don't think people are going to really target Leia, so I'm not too stressed about, giving her that upgrade that gives her Guardian, or the fact that, I mean, 6 health's not terrible anyway, so I'm not stressed about her survivability at all. I think she'll be just fine. So, that is my thoughts and my chats on Leia Organa. I think she'll be a great commander. Can't wait to get her on the table. Thank you very much for watching. Hopefully you've learned something. And until next time, may the Force be with you. This video was sponsored by Gatekeeper Games, your key to gaming unplugged, a tabletop store offering a friendly atmosphere for people to buy and play their games in the north of Fitzroy.